Okay, ladies. So, about 6 months ago, I was watching Ludwig's stream and he was talking about this invite that he got from Point Crow to do an 8-player Nuzlocke. So I thought to myself, why not do the same?
Guess what, bitch?
I did it, ladies. So welcome to the Creator Log, my version of the 8-player Nuzlocke. So I asked around and got 8 incredible queer content creators to do this challenge with me, picked a game that none of us have played before, which in this case is the mod Pokémon Too Many Types, which is a Pokémon Emerald mod, which add, well, too many types, and some Pokemon can even have up to 3 types.
Triple typing, come on! Game Freak could never.
And finally, we set the rules, and as you can see, there's no dupes clause, which in the Hoenn region means water Pokemon. And last but not least,
Shiny, serving absolute nothing but secretarial.
Created some resources for all the players, and on we go with our story.
Hi YouTube! Hi YouTube, you are watching the Creator Log. Oh my god, my nose today is... it's good.
The game starts as your good old Pokemon Emerald. The professor gives you a welcome, gives you an intro into the Pokemon world, asks your gender. Then we decided to go for a girly, and we called her Bella in honor of Bella Goth. Now, this run was supposed to be Halloween themed because the playthrough was October, November, but I kind of kept forgetting to mention to the other players that it was Halloween themed, so you will see the names changing very quickly. Anyway, we meet this grown man of a professor running around from a dog, and it's time to get our starters. In this mod, you can choose a Poplio, a Chikorita, and a Fennekin, and as a community, we decided to go with the icon Fennekin. So after defeating Poochyena, the Engi type, we officially get our Pokemon, so please meet Hex Girl, the Fire and Magic type Fennekin. Next on the list is to battle our rival, and on the way there we get to meet a Krabby, who in this game is a crab type. Our rival chose the Poplio, who's a Water Sealy type, and after an easy battle, we're finally able to catch Pokemon. We first caught Cujo, the Engi type Poochyena. Then we caught the normal and fluffy type Centric. Rename Fennekin to Resume. Resume? Or whatever her name is. No resume! Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, her name's gonna be Resume because that was so funny. And last but not least, Audrey 2, the Grass and Vibe Lotad. So next up is going to the city to talk to our absent father, and he convinces us to help Wally get his route. Now, after doing our charity work for the year, it's time to get the next encounter on Route 104, which is the bug song Pokemon Kricketot, we named Roach. Because this Pokemon is shite, honey. Is shit. Also, why is Bosley a sus baby? What is going on? Next up is going to Petalburg Woods, where we found our next encounter, which was... Oh! Oh no! Oh, this is... okay. So yeah, welcome to the stage, Slother, the boring and stinky type Slackoth. We then continue to kick the shit out of everyone in the last portion before the first gym. We also found these 2 icons over here. And because there's nothing else to do, it's time to give our Pokemon candy, which are basically drugs that make them stronger, so we can have them ready to pass on to the next player. And while leveling, Lotad evolved into Lombre, who is now a Grass, Water, and Vibe. Look at that. And Resume evolved into Furret, who's now a Fluffy Friend type. Also, Kricketot evolved into Cricketune, and with that, the team is ready, everything is set, and we move on to the next player.
And you know what?
Next up to the global stage of my channel from the UK, Mathathon. He was tasked with beating the first gym and then playing the game until he can save in front of the second gym.
We'll try, we'll see.
Well, the gym battle starts and the first Pokemon out is a Geodude.
Not him having the ugly type.
And lucky for us, just a few absorbs were able to take this Pokemon out very easily. Next in line is Lilip. And after switching to Hex Girl, she was able to get this Lilip out and deal some good damage to the Baltoy that came next. But then...
Hi, Diva. You know, I'm just not feeling this one.
Listen, I know it's quite common on Nuzlocks in this channel for the starter to not survive, but losing our starter so early in this run was too much for my poor little gay heart. Then Matt sends in other two. It took him a little bit of a back and forth to realize what was good against Baltoy, and we realized it was a Stinky type. Now, which type is Stinky type strong against? I have no idea. And genuinely, none of us have the stamina to do this.
I was going to document everything I could possibly learn the old-fashioned way on a whiteboard behind me.
And to be honest, there was already a type chart available by the time we were playing this playthrough, but it looks like this.
Bam!
Now you try to understand this. But now that we at least know Stinky is strong against something, after a few turns, Slaughter is able to take Baltoy out, and this is the first gym battle win, and honestly, the least bloody one.
So, like, trying to do this,
Oh my god.
instead of cut, have I just been given an axe? A full-on axe?
Oh yeah, one of the best quality of life improvements in this game is that the amazing modders decided to give items instead of TM. So we got this axe that is used in the place of cut. Now the story on this game is pretty much the same. They didn't change anything in this mod. So Matt prepares a little bit, puts Hex Girl in the box, and on the way to the next objective, which is to save the Wingo Piku to allow other players to continue the story, Matt gets his next encounter, which is a Pokemon he named Vorhihis.
Whatever that means.
The song type Whismur. Wishmur? A girl? I don't know. Whatever her name is. So after saving Pico, we give the Devon goods back. We get Steven's stuff. We get the Pokénav. So next stop is Dealford Town. But before we kinda have to battle our rival. And his first Pokemon is a Slugma. Guess which type Slugma is?
Do a murder. Liquid and decent.
But hey, Vorhihis was able to one-shot it with Echo Voice, so period. Next up is Poplio, the water silly guy who gets hit by Echo Voice, leaving it just a bit under half HP, but for whatever reason, this fucking seal one-shots Vorhihis with Squirt Flower. Get it? Because he looks like a clown and has a flower? Hello! Anyway, whatever. I like the concept, okay? So then Resume comes in and finishes the battle with Teddy Tubbo. So now we're finally able to go to Dealford Town. And there, Matt gets a fishing rod, which he's able to use to get an encounter in the city, which in this case is Sharknado, the water ugly Magikarp.
Rude.
So with that, Matt finished everything he had to do, and now he levels up all the Pokemon into the level cap, which is 19, had some Pokemon evolve, like Cujo, who became a Mightyena, and Slother, who became the Angie Stinky type Vigoroth. So then, with everything being done, it's time to save and move on to the next player.
The bleach and tone, like.
Next up to the global stage of this Chanel is the non-binary monarch of Twitch, with hits such as
Hi, I'm Willy Wanker. Welcome to my meth lab.
and from Ireland, it's Corbo Snapped.
Hi, YouTube.
They started checking out the cards they were dealt with, and then Corbo went straight to the gym.
Do I just have to navigate this shite in the dark?
Well, sorta, kinda.
They had to go through a few battles to get to the gym leader, had to leave to heal for a few times, and had encouraging and incredible words to share about their experience.
Ew, feet.
What was that?
What the fuck is sus type? Oh god, these Pokemon suck. There's no other Pokemon. Oh, okay. Because Matt killed all of them.
Oh, anyway, gym fight against Brawly, the stinky type gym leader.
Let's go!
So first Pokemon is Other 2 against Mankey, the Engy-Monk type. Corbo decided to use Fake Out, which was actually really strong, and then Mankey used Ooga Booga, which took half of HP, but then a bubble took him out, and apparently we learned that water is strong against Stinky, which makes sense. Next out is...
Leader Brawly sent out Cock.
Please give me cock.
Oh no, Sock.
And Sock is...
Fight and D's nuts. Help.
After a double kick, almost taking Audrey out, Corbo decides to switch into Slother, who also almost dies. So then Corbo brought Resume, and then Brawly.
He withdrew his Sock and Cock.
I want a cock.
Resume was actually...
The mother I never had. She is the sister everybody would want. She is the friend that everybody deserves.
Because after a few teddy tumbles, we were able to take Machop out.
Girl, you can't clock my work experience. Paper cuts all over your booty.
Then Sock is back, and after a bunch of back and forth, both Pokemon were in red HP. Corbo then switches Roach in, as the leader uses a potion, which is this fun little quirk that happens in this generation that was kept in this mod. So yeah, Roach dies. And now tensions are high. The team is not looking good, so Corbo decides to bring in Magikarp, so Magikarp would tank a hit, and Corbo could heal Resume, but...
Hi, Diva. You know, I'm just...
Trauma. Generational trauma. Trauma.
More like Shark, nay, don't.
And I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but I did say that the first gen was the least bloody battle we had in this game. So Cujo was also sacrificed. So he could finally bring a fully healed Resume, who after a lot of back and forth and leaving Sock with -4 attack, finally finished this battle and won us the second gem.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, you're welcome.
And we are all now able to breathe again. And also, it's encounter time. Inside the granite cave, Corbo caught Bonesley, the sus baby Bonesley. Then we found
Steven.
Gave him his stuff, got a TM, and continued with the story, which was to get an encounter, which was supposed to be on Route 109, but...
Okay, surely Bubble's not gonna kill him.
Guess what, bitch?
He's a water type.
But worry not, we were able to fish and catch crabs. The crab type Krabby. That was hard. I had to re-record this a few times. The next encounter was Sinner, the ground and friend type Sentru. Now Corbo doesn't have any more encounters, so it's time to continue with the story. Corbo goes to the museum to save the captain, battle some Team Aqua, get more things from the professor, and then make their way to Mauville City, which includes, as a special bonus, a battle with the rival. So he starts with a Lombre, Corbo starts with Resume. And Resume is able to leave Lombre on red, but almost dies because of a fake out and a bubble. And I guess water is effective against Fluffy because wet, fluffy things, I don't know. I don't know the rationale. Sometimes things don't make sense in this game, which is part of the fun. So then Krabs comes in and takes it out with a Vice Grip. Brion comes next, and then...
Oh, this isn't gonna be good.
Bisou.
Yeah, remember when I talked about a bloodbath? Exactly. So Slother comes in and leaves Brion on red HP and almost...
Oh my god!
So yeah, Corbo then switches Bonesley in, who is able to get this Brion out. And then against his last Pokemon, which is a Slugma, Lombre is able to take him out. And that's another rival battle. So now Corbo gets to Mauville, level up their Mons a little bit, which means Sentru is now a ground and sharp type Sandslash. And because this whirlwind of emotions is not over, there's still one more battle in front of the gym before Corbo is finished, which is against Wally, which was a fairly easy battle. Wally starts with Eevee, and Sinner just takes it out with a Crush Claw. The next one is Roselia, who is...
Grass poison gender! Are you serious? She's grass poison gender type? They have gender type in this game? I want a whole gender team. What? Also the trans colors? I'm living.
And for the rest of the battle, Sinner just takes everyone out with Crush Claws. And this means that Corbo is done with their part and has successfully...
Well, sorta kinda.
led us to the third gym, and on we go with the next player, saving in front of the gym and moving on. Next up to the global stage of this Chanel, from the UK, it's Tony Brightside. So his first job was to defeat the gym leader as any new player on this run, and it so happens that this gym leader is the Prime type gym leader. Prime as in Twitch Prime. Tony then levels up all of his Pokemon to the level cap of 24, and on he goes to the gym battle. First up is Porygon, the Prime gamer type, against Sinner. After a magnitude that wasn't very strong, Porygon uses Prime Sub, which was a lot of damage and super effective against God knows what. Tony then decides to switch in Audrey too, who gets hit by a hype train.
I change the phones 2 times a day. It's Niagara Falls in this pussy all day.
Which is the Prime type version of Rollout. And the first hit was already strong enough. So Audrey hits Porygon with a strong Bubble Beam because Gamer is weak to water. So then we get lucky because Porygon misses the second hit of Hype Train, and then a second Bubble Beam almost takes Porygon out. But Audrey dies to a new Hype Train. So then Sinner comes back and finally takes Porygon out with a magnitude. Next up is Pikachu, and Pikachu is the Pikachu type. And I'm assuming that this type is strong against ground because Pig Attack does a bunch of damage and Pikachu resists a ground type move. Tony heals Sinner and the gym leader switches in Rotom, who then confuses Sinner, who is able to hit the move, which doesn't really hit because Rotom has Levitate, and then after a few High Trains, Potions, Sinner luckily survives a last hit with 4 HP because Rotom misses. He's able to break out of confusion and finally takes him out with Crush Claw. God, that was stressful. Pikachu comes back and takes Sinner out with a Pig Attack.
Oh! What was that?
So Slother comes in, gets paralyzed, and because Tony is the luckiest person alive, Slother survives with 1 HP and takes Pikachu out with a slash. Now it's time for the final Pokemon, Whimsicott, who is Fluffy and Prime type. So Tony decides to heal Slother, and again, because Tony is the luckiest person on this run, Whimsicott misses the attack. So now we have another stressful moment because the next slash deals a bunch of damage, was not enough. Whimsicott then uses Steady Tumble, which does a bunch of damage and lowers Slother's attack. The next slash is not enough to take it out because of this. And the beautiful modders of this game decided to be shady bitches and gave this Whimsicott a Citrus Berry to hold, which heals 25% of HP. And once again, because Tony is the luckiest woman in this run, she's able to get a crit and finishes the battle having only 2 Pokemon down. Also, we got a hammer as a prize, which works in the place of Rock Smash. So with the gym win under our belts, Tony goes around doing a few battles to kind of few things around. Unfortunately, Bonesley ends up going away.
We're going to Domino's.
Oompa body ass bitch.
So his only Pokemon to continue his part of the adventure were Slother and Resume. Now it's encounter time. On Route 117, Tony caught Birdo, the normal flying and guys type duo. Unfortunately, Tony ended up cold-blood murdering the next encounter, which was supposed to be a giraffe egg. While going through the stinky path, stinky, he caught a jack-o'-lantern and I don't know, the liquid D's Nuts Slugma. On Route 113, Tony caught Boney M, the sharp ghost Honedge. On Route 114, Tony caught the Fluffy Song and flying type Swablu, which didn't have a name because Tony did what I do always, which is mash the button and forget to give Pokemon names on Nuzlocke. While on the Meteor Falls, to move the story forward, Tony caught Skeletor, the Rock and Space Solrock. And then after watching Team Magma and Team Aqua do some petty fights...
What is the tea? The girls are fighting! No!
it's time to go to Mount Chimney to kick some Magma's team's asses, which means it's time to battle the Team Magma's leader. And he starts with a Mightyena. Tony starts with Slother, who doesn't do a lot of damage and eventually gets roared out, which brings Swablu in. So after another roar, Boney M comes in, who's able to take Mightyena out. Next up is Macargo, who is able to get hit by a Shadow Sneak, but unfortunately takes the short-lived Boney M out. So then Swablu comes back out, and after a bunch of back and forth, this little fluffy bitch is able to take Macargo out. Zubat comes next, and also dies to Swablu, who ended up being the iconic diva of this battle. Now, before Tony lives the save for the next player, he catches Mike Myers, the right sus-type Lickitung. By the way, this right means right in political parties. And then he goes to Lava Ridge City, and on we go to the next player.
Bisou.
Death.
Next up to the global stage of My Chanel, it's the iconic queer Pokemon content creator from the Philippines, Juddy Gon. The first thing Juddy did was get the egg you receive in Lava Ridge Town, and then after hatching it, welcome to the stage, Mommy. The friend, magic, and gender type Galarian Ponyta. To prepare for the gym, Juddy puts all the Pokemon on the level cap, and then he cleared out the gym by going in and out,
And in and out and in and out.
and then in, and then out, and then in, and then it's time to battle Fire,
Bisou.
who is the fire and fluffy type gym leader. And she starts with Furret. Juddy then sends Jack-O-Lantern, or as he calls him, These Nuts.
What? Don't hug my nuts! You!
So Furret paralyzes These Nuts, sorry, we're going with his name now, and gets hit hard with a Flame Burst. So Flannery then switches in Ninetales, who gets hit by a Rock Slide, taking a third of its HP out. So Ninetales hits These Nuts, sorry, with a Snug Strike that was very strong. So Juddy switches in Mike Myers, who takes a big hit from another Snug Strike and gets paralyzed next turn. The plan now was to disable Snug Strike, but because Ninetales changed the move, Warm Hug ended up being disabled. The next turn is another Snug Strike, and from this point on, it was just a bunch of healing items, defense curls, taking Snug Strikes, getting paralyzed all over again, not being able to deal damage because of the full para, and when Lickitung finally gets a move in to deal some damage...
What? That's all it does?
Anyway, more back and forth with a few flinches. And after almost 10 real-world minutes, Juddy finally switches out and brings in Resume, who is finally able to take it out with a few quick attacks, but got paralyzed on the way. So next up is Flareon. So Juddy decides to sacrifice Resume, as it was the only way out to not wipe.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to.
So Juddy safely sends in Slother, who... Then Juddy decides to send in Mommy.
Crazy, the very first sin was a woman who ate. A woman who ate.
And she hits the weakest wave dash and almost dies to a covet. And then Mommy died. What? So then These Nuts comes back in, yawns Flareon, and Juddy decides to send in Mike Myers to sacrifice him. But he survives. So Flareon falls asleep. Mike was able to do some damage until Flareon woke up, and another death. These Nuts is brought back out and then takes Flareon out with a lucky crit Rock Slide. Arcanine is next, and These Nuts is able to put him to sleep with Yawn, did some good damage with Rock Slide, and then Juddy decides to switch out to Birdo. So herein comes another moment where it was just a bunch of back and forth for the longest time until Birdo died. These Nuts comes back, saves the day, taking Arcanine out with a Rock Slide. Finally, Furret comes back, and this is how the battle ended.
Please. Don't die.
Bam! What the hell, you squirping like a chirping like the bird?
I'm not joking when I tell you that this battle took literally 30 real life minutes. 30 entire real life minutes. Anyway, we got the power gloves that substitute strength, and it's time to get the encounters. Now Juddy is able to access the desert, and the next encounter was Voodoo, the ancient and psychic time bow toy. Then he caught another Sentru, which he named Tom, another Magikarp, which he named Swampster. Then he goes to Rustboro City to wake up the fossil, which was Frankenstein, the silly ancient dragon-type Dracovish. And now it's time to bring your child to work, which means going back to our dad and battling him. When Juddy gets to the city, he fishes to catch his last encounter, which is Other Mother, the silly little bug-type Wimpod. And in preparation for the next player, Juddy was nice enough to level everyone up to the level cap, which means Sentru evolves to Sandslash and Magikarp became the Angie Water-type Gyarados. Without that being done, it's time to save in front of the gym, and on we go to the next player.
Oh no!
Next up, in the global stage of My Chanel from the US, it's the musician, content creator, and also voice actor, Cam.
It's X. I found it. Haha, I'm a girl.
Before he goes and defeats our dad, he decides to get acquainted with the Pokémon he had.
It's type Fluffy. What does that mean? Liquid and
Bitch!
So Cam finally goes to the gym, and he was getting used to the mechanics of the game while battling some gym trainers. Now this was the moment that Cam realized that this gym is the furry type gym.
Roar XD?
Wait a damn minute.
Oh no. It's a furry!
Yes, you heard it correctly. So this means that now it's time to confront our dad about him being a furry. So the battle starts amazing. Norman sends in Floatzel, Cam sends in Swablu, who gets one shot with a furry type move named Glomp.
Dula Peep, I am a little very gagged.
So Cam sends in Swampster, who doesn't do sh** because he gets paralyzed, flinched. So Cam decides to switch into Frankenstein, the Dracovish, who takes Floatzel out with 2 brutal wings. Next, it's Lopunny. To be honest, were you expecting something different from a furry type gym leader? Anyway, Lopunny uses Attract.
Don't fall for it! Don't fall for the femboy!
And this is where everything goes downhill, which means the battle was lost. Cam, having none but 1 Pokemon left in the box, takes Other Mother into his team, evolves her into a Colisopod, who is now an Angie Buggy type, and after strategically strategizing a strategy, he went 1v5 for a second round against Norman. Floatzel then again is first. Other Mother is able to take about half HP out with first impressions. Floatzel then paralyzes Other Mother, but because Cam came prepared, she was holding a cherry berry that cured paralysis, and he was able to set up Swords Dance. But Floatzel is faster and paralyzes Other Mother again, but then ends up dying for a Razor Shell. Next up, it's Vaporeon.
Hey, did you know?
No ma'am.
Don't joke about that.
Vaporeon hits a water pulse, Other Mother gets full para. Another water pulse, another full para, another water pulse, the attack misses, and then Cam realizes that there is no move that he is able to hit Vaporeon because of the ability. So he decides to PP stall using Spite and healing items. After a while, Norman switches in Lucario, who dies to 2 Razor Shells. Vaporeon is back, and Cam is back on the PP stalling strategy, but this time maxing out the attack with Swords Dance. So then Norman decides to switch out Vaporeon, this time bringing in Lopunny, who got taken out by 1 Razor Shell because of the maxed out attack. And finally, Vaporeon is back, and the PP stalling continued until Vaporeon hit Struggle and finally went down after a few turns. And this is how Cam was able to finish a gym with only 1 Pokemon. When you defeat Norman, you get the surfboard, which allows you to surf around the world. And because this is Hoenn, this means that we get a bunch of encounters for us to catch the same 5 Pokemon over and over again. The first one was Finn Harold, the little water guy's wishy-washy on Route 105. Then we got another Magikarp on Route 106 named Carpet. Then on Route 107 we caught Majesty, the gun water type Horsey. And yes, you heard it correctly, gun type. Cam then went to the abandoned ship, and after doing some battles, getting some good items, he found a piece of water where we were able to fish, and then he caught Fiona the Horsey. And yes, this is not the last one we're gonna see in this run. The next encounter was on Route 115, and it was... If you guessed a wishy-washy, then you guessed correctly. Oh my god, this is obviously not the last time we're gonna see another one. And of course, Other Mother died to be able to catch Wishy-Washy the Wishy-Washy. At this point in the game, New Malville was open, so Cam got Turny Burny, the Prime Steel and Geist type Clink there. And after leveling it a little bit, Clink evolved into the Steel Geist Clang. By the way, remember in the past there was a whole thing about you finding a truck somewhere and then you would be able to find a Mew because of it? Well, the modders decided that this was a fun thing to add, and Ken found this truck. And guess what?
What?
Oh my god.
What?
Hey, bestie.
What?
He really tried to catch this Mew, but he was not successful, and then he just gave up. I genuinely didn't know you could find a Mew in this goddamn game, and I really wish Cam could have gotten it because none of us caught it, and I didn't watch his footage before starting my part. So now it's time to get back to business.
And that's just because we want to have some kind of high visibility. We have some people kind of coming in and kind of making sure that we're kind of all on track with everything that we're supposed to be doing. So I just kind of wanted to keep that on everybody's radar, but I'm just going to go ahead and, give everybody their time.
And continue with the story, and then we find...
Steven!
So Cam decided to explore a little bit and level up some Pokemon, which meant that our Horsies evolved into Seadras. And now it's time to go to that weather thing where you save a bunch of doctors and stuff. Anyway, as a result of all of that, Cam got Mew, the Sus Liquid type Ditto. And before Cam can reach the next city to save in front of the gym, there is a rival battle to happen. So Lombre comes first, and Cam sends in Turny Burny, and after being able to do just a bit of damage, Lombre one-shots the Clink.
Deep regret.
So then Cam sends in Mew, who because of the imposter ability automatically transforms into Lombre, gets hit with a super effective groove, and gives on right back. Then Cam decides to switch into Majesty, who ends up losing 50 HP after taking a groove. But then next turn, she almost takes it out with a Brine, gets hit with a Bubble Beam, which makes her eat her Citrus Berry, and then Lombre finally goes down to a Twister. Slugma comes in next and gets one shot. Then Brionne comes in, doesn't take a lot of damage from a Twister, and almost takes Majesty out with a crit Bubble Beam. Carpet then comes in, tanks an Icy Wind, and finally takes this Brionne out after a few turns with Thunderbolt, finally defeating the rival, which gives us the item we use instead of Fly. Then Cam is able to catch Freddy, the type Kecleon, and with that, Cam goes in front of the gym, saves, and on we go to the next player.
Hi, gay.
Beach.
Next up, to the global stage of My Chanel, it's the twink representation of this run from the United States by Soy Sauce. And by Soy, as we dearly call him, starts the game in front of the gym, get acquainted with the team, the new types, do some level ups, and it's time to fight.
Well, sorta kinda.
There were a few deaths before he actually was able to get to the gym leader.
Oh no!
Can I help you, bitch?
Divas.
And a little bit of an over-leveling moment, but now it's actually time. The battle is against Winona, the song and dance gym leader, and she sends in her Ludicolo, and Baisoy sends in Majesty, and I'm kind of obsessed with this ability that makes the ground groovy, which is the rain dance for dance types. Ludicolo then uses Samba Strike, which, by the way, there are no maracas in Samba. Okay, divas, let's get that straight. Anyway, it wasn't a very strong move against Majesty anyway, but Majesty's Hydro Pump was also not very strong. Winona then decides to switch in Maractus, who gets hit by a Twister, and next turn uses a Static Shuffle, which apparently is a physical move because he gets hit by Poison Point. Then after a bunch of back and forth, and almost taking Maractus out, so Winona decides to use a Hyper Potion, so he's back to step 1. Then we go through another cycle of back and forth, this time paralyzing Majesty, until Winona heals her Pokemon, and this time Baisoy decides to send in Freddy, the Kecleon, who gets hit by a Mega Drain, transforming him into a Grass type. Ancient Power doesn't do a lot of damage, and then Maractus is able to set up another Groovy Ground, and after a lot of back and forth once again, this goddamn Pokemon finally is taken out. At this point, Freddy is now a Dance type, and then Chatot comes in and takes him out with one Chatter because apparently Song is strong against Dance type.
You may say I'm a dreamer.
Where's she going?
Girl, what do you think?
So Wishiwashi comes next, takes a bunch of HP out with Feint Attack, gets confused, hits itself on its confusion, so then Bison decides to send in Fiona, who's finally able to take Chatot out, not before getting confused on the way. Next is Altaria, and gets hit by a very strong Bubble Beam, and God only knows what the hell water is strong against in this battle. But anyway, Altaria ends up healing with a Citrus Berry and taking Fiona out with a Fluffy Fury. So next up is Wishiwashi, who also is taken out, but this time by a Break It Down. So Majesty comes in and saves the day, taking Altaria out with a Hydro Pump. And because this battle is not over, the next Pokemon is an Exploud. And once again, Majesty Mothering takes him out with one Hydro Pump. And now finally the last Pokemon, Ludicolo, who uses another Samba Strike, who is weak. Ludicolo ends up getting poisoned by Poison Point, and then it was a bunch of back and forth until Majesty finally was able to finish the battle with some Twisters. And now, we are finally able to fly. So this means that Baisoy goes on and get his encounters. On Route 107...
Oh great, another Wishiwashi.
So welcome to the team, Morticia. And then on Route 121...
Well, failed that encounter.
Cue the montage!
Gag.
Pussy.
Race?
Were people doing coke in your bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. But luckily, the encounters are not done, and this is what we had left. On the Safari Zone, Baisoy got Carrie, the sharp Zoomer type Ninjask. And then he got Glenda, the Slugma, on the Magma Hideout. Baisoy did evolve Glenda into Macargo, but then, because he was speeding up the game and not paying attention...
Where?
Oh! Oh! Exactly. So now, it's time to battle the Magma Leader. Carrie, who is a Huntress, has the ability Speed Boost, which means every turn she gets a speed boost. So Carrie starts dealing a bunch of damage to my Tiena, which makes the leader uses all of his potions until he decides to switch into Macargo. Baisoy then decides to switch into Majesty to take any damage, and after a bunch of back and forth between Lava Blooms and Twisters, she's able to take the Magma Slug out. Crobat is next, and after a few heals and Hydro Pumps, and the Brine, Crobat is finally out. My Tiena is next, and then Majesty takes it out with Brine. The battle is finished, and Baisoy can breathe again. On the way to the Aqua Hideout, there was an encounter to be caught in Lily Cove City, which was a Wishiwashi!
This is for Rachel.
And we decide to name him Davy Jones. Oh yeah, of course, there is a rival battle, but Carrie just basically got everyone out with slashes. I guess you could say Carrie carried.
Hello. Hello.
Anyway, the Aqua admin battle is next, and it's
Story time!
which was a very short story because Davy Jones just takes everyone out. So after getting everything done, it's time for the next encounter, which in an unexpected turn of events...
Okay, pull up, how?
It's a Horsey named Horsey on Route 104. The Baisoy quickly evolved into a Seadra, but not always the same. He was able to get Skiven King, the Crab-type Kingler, in Mossdip City, and with that being done, he saves the game in front of the gym, and on to the next player we go.
Bam!
Next up to the global stage of this Chanel.
Hello?
That's right, the next player is the one, the only, the woman, the icon, the legend, the drag queen, the question asker and word sayer, Miss Cookie Dough. So Cookie starts the game in front of the gym and starts to get acquainted with the team, and also...
Retyping is this one. Liquid these nuts. Like, listen, who did this mod for this game was a gay person.
So with this very important piece of information out of the way, Cookie goes to the gym.
Period 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 period
After fighting a few trainers within the gym, Cookie realizes that she will have better chances if she evolved the Seadress into Kingdress. And also got the encounter on Route 125, which was, of course, another wishy-washy that was named Lexi. One of the Kingdras was still unnamed, so Cookie decided to give it a name and called her Mia. She then went to the Shoal Cave and caught Love Pink, the Ice Baby type Vanillite. So after some leveling up, Love Pink evolved into the Ice type Vanillish. Cookie went back to the gym to battle the gym leader. Now the fun thing about this gym is that all the trainers have these cosmic, fairy, cutesy types, and for some reason the creators of this game decided to remove the twins and add Clay, who is, wait for it, an Ohio type gym leader with mostly gun and Ohio moves. So the battle starts and Clay sends in Duraludon and Bufalon, and Cookie sends in Love Pink and Majesty. And we found out that Ohio type resists gun type. And folks, I guess this is how we learn a little bit more about American culture. But anyway, I digress. And because Duraludon is a behemoth of a Pokemon with high stats, he one-shots Love Pink.
What the f?
And I guess Clay thinks Pink is in fact a bad seed on this earth. Anyway, Cook sends in Mia, Duraludon protects, Majesty hits Bufalon with some damage with a Surf, and Mia uses Smokescreen. Bufalon then uses Riot and gets confused right after. Majesty then hits both Pokemon with a Surf, Duraludon deals considerable damage with a Shoot on Mia, and then Bufalon takes itself out with the confusion damage. So Braviary is sent out next, Mia heals while Majesty takes Duraludon out with Shoot. Then Braviary uses the Ohio version of Dragon Dance. Rootin' and tootin', and honestly, listen to this. And the way they added this yeehaw ass type sound on the Ohio moves is hilarious. Anyway, Hitmonchan comes next. He protects, Braviary uses another
Rootin' Tooth. Rootin' Tootin'. Rootin' Tootin'.
What does that mean?
Majesty misses a Shoot, and Mia's Twister hits Braviary with a super effective critical hit. Braviary then takes Mia out with bare arms, which is like this type's close combat.
She died.
Then Majesty deals a third of Hitmonchan's HP with a Brine, and gets hit by bare arms. So then Carrie is sent out, and Braviary takes it out with a Rodeo. A sad ending for such an iconic Pokemon on this run.
Oh, wait a minute.
Anyway, Majesty leaves both Pokemon on red HP with a Twister, and Hitmonchan leaves Majesty on yellow HP with bare arms. Davy Jones is sent in, while Majesty heals and tanks a Rodeo. Davy Jones is one shot with a bare arms.
Any more bullets?
So Stephen King is sent out, Hitmonchan heals, and our Kingler gets taken out by Braviary with a Shoot.
Gender appropriations.
And finally, Braviary goes down to a Brine, and after a bit of back and forth, Hitmonchan finally goes down to a Surf, and this battle is finally over!
We did it! Thank you, Majesty.
While moving the story along,
oh, this song is a pop. Oh my god, a Meryl! I love Meryls! Love them.
Love
Meryls.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I know that's right.
Cookie then finds Steven to battle some Team Magma leadership in a double battle, which was pretty easy battle to be honest. Majesty steamrolled every Pokemon with some help of a Metang, which died to a friendly Surf. But this battle was great because it gave us these moments.
Here comes Ninetales again. Agron.
What the f is going on in here on this day?
Not the Among Us sound. This game is crazy. Bye, Agron. Oh my god, Steve, you are such a freaking flop. All of your Pokemon are dying. Maybe you need to stop being a steel oh, she was like,
this bitch is crazy, let me protect my Skarmory.
Well, you know what that means.
I want to go catch some Pokemon. Let's catch some Pokemon.
Pokemon catching montage. First, on the underwater side of Route 126,
Oh my god, this is so great.
Cookie caught Grapefruit, the water vibe type shallows. On Route 127,
A leech and tone, like.
Another RC.
No, another one?
yes, another one, and Cookie forgot to name it. Then she evolved Grapefruit into the OU and ground type Gastrodon. And also Horsey into a Seadra, and then she gave it a name
Another one, thank you.
and evolved it into a Kingdra. So back to Pokemon catching, and on the seafloor cave,
I am PDM! I love. Let's go. It's mine. It's mine. Get inside of that ball, you. Good. Maybe it's because he's wanting. Oh. Okay.
Cookie caught Bat Seed, the dark reverse gamer type Impidimp, which she fully evolved to a Grimmsnarl right away. So the next thing on the list is to battle the Team Aqua leader, and the battle starts. He sends in Mightyena, and while Lexi uses a dive, the leaders switch into Crobat, who takes the hit. And then Crobat heals itself a little bit because of a leech life, and Cookie switches into another one, thank you, who gets hit by a Poison Fang and gets poisoned. On the next turn, Crobat uses Mean Look, which made Kingdra stay, so because of that, and after a lot of back and forth and some healing items, Crobat stays in red, and another one, thank you, dies. Bam! Grapefruit then comes in and takes a leech life while almost taking Crobat out with a water pulse. Then Archie decides to switch into Crowndown to tank the second water pulse, and then it uses Razor Shell, but it doesn't affect Grapefruit because she has Storm Drain, which means she gets a special attack increase, and then she is able to paralyze Crowndown with a Body Slam. And next turn, takes him out with a Mud Ball. Mightyena's back.
With some pep in a style.
And after taking a hit, Cookie switches to Bad Seed, who gets one shot with Crunch.
She's a bad seed on this earth.
I'm about to beat this bitch up.
And this is how we learned how the reverse typing works in this game. If a Pokemon is reverse type, their type matchups are inversed in terms of weaknesses and super effectiveness. Anyway, Lexi is back and uses Dive. Archie then switches Crobat out just to die to the dive. Then it's finally time to face the Mightyena. Cookie then decides to switch into Majesty, who shoots Mightyena to death, and that is another battle done, and Kyogre is freed. After this moment, there is some drama between the two team leaders because they realize they f***ed up the entire region because of their ambitions. Steven appears and all that happens. Anyway, let's catch some Pokemon. On Route 128, Cookie caught yet another Kingler and named it Kingsler. On 129, Cookie caught
Hi, Diva.
another Wishy-Washy and named Metamorphosis.
So all of this is mine. Is that it? All of this is mine.
On Route 130,
guys, it's another RC.
We're going to Domino's. Come on.
and named it Boobs. On Route 131, Cookie caught the Smash type Whalmer. Also, on Pacific-Log, Cookie caught another Whalmer, and this time named it Whale Maybe. Cookie then evolves Whale Yes into a Wailord, and on Route 132, Cookie caught another Kingler and named it Itchy. Now, on Route 133...
Oh, there you go. We got a Lapras, y'all.
Cookie caught Lappy, the Water Ice Ancient type Lapras. Now it's time for Route 134, and again, in a very, very unexpected turn of events, Cookie caught another Seadra, and this time named it Giagun.
I am the Boom Boom Gun.
So Cookie went to Sootopolis to heal and catch the Pokemon you can fish there, but ended up triggering a few cutscenes needed to progress the story, and then finally Cookie was able to catch the next encounter, which was a Magikarp she called Flopiana. Then after talking to Steven and being able to go to the Cave of Origin, she was able to catch Polbat, the boring poison-flying Gobat. And now, it's time to go to the Sky Peeler, and that is where Cookie caught the iconic Kim Richards, the Ancient type Golett. And now, there's one last thing to do before saving in front of the last gym and send it to the next player, and that is to experience this cutscene.
Oh my god, these cutscenes were so weak when I was younger. It was like, oh my god. Oh my god, this is cinematic. This CGI, this freaking CGI that is happening right now. This was top tier, S+ tier in the 2000s. This was freaking like 10 out of 10. Whoa, CGI. realistic. I wish the game was all in these graphics. Like, amazing 3D, seriously. Did you know that actually these are puppets? Bitch! I was the voice actress for Rayquaza, by the way, if you didn't know that.
With that being done and Wallace out of the way quite literally, it is time to save in front of the gym and on we go to the next player.
Thank you.
You know?
What was that?
Next up to the global stage of this Chanel is the player who will need to prepare a good team for me to beat the Elite Four with. From the United States, it's the retro gaming extraordinaire, Hi2 Retro Gaming. And as the other players, he got acquainted with the team and the Pokemon available.
Your name is Grapefruit. I don't know if it has a gape. But you know what? It's slimy, it's slicky, it does the job. I would have gone for Fleshlight.
After doing a thorough preparation of the team, arranging and adjusting and changing and doing stuff, it is finally time to battle Juan, the crab-type leader. So the battle starts, Juan sends in Crondont and Hito sends in Flopiana. Then Flopiana sets up with Dragon Dance and Crondont sets up with the crab-type version of Dragon Dance, Crab Rave. And then Flopiana one-shots Crondont with Outrage. Next up, it's Machamp. Remember when I told you in the beginning of the game that you would not believe which Pokemon are crab type? Well, case in point, Machamp is a crab type. The Outrage continues, which takes half of the HP off Machamp, but then a close combat takes Flopiana out in one shot.
Flopiana.
Then Hito sends in Holbat to take Machamp out with Undercutter, and Crosso is next. And after a weak Swift, Holbat almost goes out for Stone Edge, then Whale Yes comes in and gets heavily damaged by another Stone Edge. And after a Hyper Potion, gets hit by an even stronger one. So it's time for Grapefruit. And to make a long story short, and after a lot of back and forth, Grapefruit is able to take Crosso out. Crabominable is next. And he one-shots Grapefruit with an Ice Hammer for Grapefruit. Next up is Holbat, who is able to do a bunch of damage, but also dies to another Ice Hammer.
Race?
So it's time to bring in Kingler because all that damage was in vain since Juan heals Crabominable. And Kingler is able to only take half HP with Metal Claw, then the second Metal Claw almost takes it out, but then again, another Ice Hammer kills another Pokemon.
Again.
Latias then comes in and saves the day with a Body Slam, so Juan finally sends his last Pokemon, which is a Kingler, who hits a very weak Crab Hammer and gets hit by a Body Slam in hopes to paralyze it, but it doesn't work. And to make another long story very short, Latias is able to take this Kingler down, which means that is the last gym and we are finally ready to go to the victory road. And because I was expecting a bloodbath after a few of the players, we agreed between me and Hito that he would be allowed to catch a different Pokemon in each floor of the victory road. So that's what he did. And in preparation of that, he went to his box, got the remaining Pokemon there, evolved Kim Richards. Once he got there, on the first floor, he got Chrysler, the gun-type Duraludon. And in this mod, they changed things around a little bit, so you fight Wally as you leave the first floor, and I kind of forgot that this was the case.
Hold it! Can I help you, bitch?
Get the f out of here.
By the way, Wally is the only gender-type trainer, and I think that is very Slay boots the house down work.
Yes, Queen Skinny Legend Versace boots the house.
What is gender's weakness?
Wouldn't J.K. Rowling love to know that?
Oh.
Wally starts with Galarian Rapidash.
8.
And after 3 heavy slams, Whale Yes is able to take it out. Next up is Milotic, who uses a Water Pulse, which is apparently strong against Smash. And Milotic also tanks a heavy slam. So Hito decides to switch into Wishiwashi, who tanks the Water Pulse, but the next turn takes a bunch of damage from an Ice Beam. But it is also able to deal a bunch of damage with a 5-hit Pillow Fight. Next turn, Hito decides to keep Lexi, who ends up getting taken out.
Baby, you can't read the doll.
And then Hito sends Zen Ichi. Now, I don't know what happened with the RNG of this game, but luck was on our side because with Wally out of the way, Hito decides to leave the victory rows and do some heavy prepping for what's about to come. So he comes back, and on the second floor, he catches Barabotten, the Ohio friend-type Snorlax. In the next floor, he caught Magnolia C. This is so shady because of the nose. The Boomer Gun Probopass. But getting these encounters didn't come without a cost.
I lost all hope today.
Once again, Hito does some prep around the losses and actually catches the encounter on Evergrande City, which is the very last one of this entire run. A Magikarp named Moisteria, which was quickly evolved into a Gyarados, but unfortunately she didn't last long.
No.
Well,
and also Itchy,
just as I thought,
and Giagun,
trash,
were also killed. And after this goddamn bloodbath of an entire run, Hito gets to the victory road, levels up some Pokemon, saves, and on we go to the last player.
Rage and trauma.
And finally, to the global stage of this Chanel from the UK, representing Brazil, it's me. We're going to play the league. But before we start, I need to address 3 things. 1, I am aware that this wig is kinda out of place. 2, I have no lashes on because my lashes got f***ed up and I didn't have the time to buy new ones. And 3, aside from all of this, I am still fly, sexy, and beautiful. So thank you very much. On with the story.
Somebody lied to her several times.
I purposefully didn't watch a lot of the other players' playthrough, so I also get the element of surprise as much as they did. So here I am getting acquainted with the team. Then after leveling some of these Pokemon and buying some healing items with the little money we had left, we went to the league battles. The first E4 person is Sydney, who specializes in the Silly type. This battle was quite easy because Chrysler was able to take everyone out with either shoot or flash cannons. Bam, bam, bam! 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 Next up is Phoebe, who specializes in Gamer type. Gamer is weak against Ghost, Water and Grass. So the battle starts and Phoebe sends in Sableye, and we send in the iconic Kim Richards, who one-shots it with a Stomping Tantrum. The next Pokemon is a Beware, and he takes a strong Stomping Tantrum. And then he uses 5 Nights, which is described as Perish Song, but FNAF's song when you lose power in the first game. For the gameplay, this means that after 5 turns, the Pokemon who are in the field will take a very strong Future Sight-like attack. So now I have a counter on my back. Kim Richards almost takes Beware out with a few Stomping Tantrums, but his last Plush Pump put my Kim Richards to sleep and HP on red. So the right move was to switch into Whale Yes, who ends up one-shotting Beware with Surf after a full restore was used. Oh. Next up is Duxnoir, but guess what?
Dula Peepa.
Well, no.
Excuse me, bitch!
That is homophobic.
Now, because of the move's effect, Dusknoir loses half of his HP. And then Lapias, who was on the field, almost takes it out with a Brine. And what is truly homophobic is that once again, we are on a countdown because of another 5 Nights was used. Next turn, the last healing item is used, and the Brine deals a small amount of damage. The shady Pokemon use Protect to stall a turn, and then next turn, Ice Beam does some damage. A second Ice Beam freezes Dusknoir, but then 5 Nights activates, and it's over for Lapias.
Oh, for God's sake.
So I send in Barabottom while Dusknoir is taken out. Porygon is the next one, and he's able to do a bunch of damage. So I thought the best strategy was to switch Barabottom out and bring Magnolia C in, who is able to avoid a big strong attack from Porygon, which is named Screen Peak, and one-shot it with a shoot. Last Pokemon is Grimmsnarl, who honestly, it's basically a VGC build at this point, because he uses both screens and also uses Thunder Wave, but we are finally able to take it out after a few turns. And that is the second Elite Four member out. This is a bloodbath, bitch. It's time for the third Elite Four member. And yes, you saw this absolutely correctly. Larry was brought in from Paldea to be an Elite Four member in this region using the Boring type. So the battle starts. Larry sends in Golan, I send in Chrysler. And Chrysler is able to do a bunch of damage to Golan, leaving it on red HP, but then Golan thought it was going to be cute, fun, and fresh to use Explosion. And that means that Chrysler was one shot to death. By the way, I was looking into the moveset of the Pokémons of the Elite Four members, and they gave this Golan only Stealth Rock and Explosion. That is so shady. That is so shady, nasty, and rude.
So nasty and so rude.
Well, I send in Barabottom, and Larry sends in Pheasant. He uses Brave Bird, which leaves Barabottom with 2 HP, and a Crunch puts Pheasant on red HP. I have no idea why I decided to attack instead of switching, and Pheasant used Send Email. And this face that you see here is my confused face because I wasn't sure if I read the name of the attack correctly. Anyway, of course, this beautiful Elite Four member decides to use a full restore as I send in Magnolia Crawford, but she's able to take the bird out with a discharge. Now next up is Slacking, and he got hit by 2 discharges and paralyzed, but then he healed his HP with a goddamn citrus berry. Slacking ends up hitting a Giga Impact, and that is it for Magnolia. She is out and sashayed away.
Well,
that means that we only have Kim Richards left on the team. And this is the time where we discovered how powerful and strong Kim Richards actually is. Also, the way I got so lucky with some missed attacks and full powers, so Kim could wake up and take Slacking out with some stomping tantrums. Next up is Raticate, who halves my HP with a goddamn Super Fang, but ends up going down to a stomping tantrum. Next is Dunsparce, and I decide to heal Kim. Now, Dunsparce uses 9 to 5, which puts Kim to sleep. And honestly, shout out to the people that thought about the boring type moveset. Anyway, to make another long story short, a bunch of back and forth, and Kim Richards was finally able to take this Dunsparce out. 3 members down, 1 last to go. We only have 1 Pokemon and the dream. The last Elite Four member is... What's the next?
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, bestie.
Sasibaka is the name of this Elite Four member. No, you are not seeing things. I know. Let's just move on with this battle. So he starts with a Ditto that has Imposter, of course. And Kim is able to take it out with 2 Earthquakes. The next Pokemon is an Amoonguss, of course. And an Earthquake deals decent damage. So then Amoonguss uses a move named Vent, of course. Lucky for me, this move has the same mechanics as Dig, so an Earthquake is effective and takes Amoonguss out. The next Pokemon is a Licky who vents, and then also gets one shot by an Earthquake. The next Pokemon is a Mimikyu who sets a Swords Dance. Oh! While Kim Richards takes the Disguise out with an Earthquake. On the next turn, Mimikyu almost takes Kim Richards out with a Shadow Sneak. And then she almost takes Mimikyu out with a Heavy Slam. When I decided to heal Kim Richards, Mimikyu vented, which gave us a free heal, which was enough to tank Mimikyu's next move, and Kim was able to take it out with an Earthquake. Finally, his last Pokemon, which was a Licky, and I was so confused, but then I realized that the other Licky that was defeated was actually a Zoroark, and this one was the real one, because it took more turns of Earthquakes to really take it out. And that's it. That's the Elite Four done, and Kim Richards carried us to the champion battle. So on we go, and we get into that room having 1 healing item, and basically no more PPs to use. And in this game, the champion is Wallace, and he has a nasty team. Nasty. Absolutely disgusting. Let me show you why. First up is this little who was made by hateful people. And let me explain you why this little bitch is a problem. Because he's Baby and Reverse type, Baby is weak against basically everything, and reverses that, so he becomes resistant to basically everything. So yeah, let's watch how that turned out. Kim is actually able to deal some relevant damage, but remember when I said this Pokemon is a little demon? Yes, he uses Baby Fight, which changes my typing to Baby, and to add to the torture, he also has Counter. Anyway, next turn, we're able to take it out with a Heavy Slap, but things are not looking very good. The next Pokemon is a Shedinja who protects while we heal, so it's a free heal, and after that, we are able to take it out with 1 Stomping Tantrum. Silvally is next. Now, I don't exactly know how the typings normal, 2, and type work, but those were his types. But what I do know is that his multi-attack took Kim Richards out. Action! Unfortunately, ladies, it wasn't our time. We tried really, really hard. We really fought for our Pokemon. We fought for the run. We fought for everything. But you unfortunately, it wasn't this time. Unfortunately, the creator lock was lost. But we fought bravely to get where we are. We had people from all over the world. This save is more passed around than Lana Del Rey's ex-boyfriend. But we did it, ladies. We finished the creator lock. It was a sad finish because we didn't finish it. We didn't win. But the good news is we got together, and as a community, we had fun and we enjoyed ourselves. And that's what matters, because today's sponsor of this video is my therapist. Thank you everybody so much who appeared here, who really participated on the creator lock and really was there doing their part by killing everything and every resource that I could ever had. I wasn't able to do anything because you finished with all the resources that I could have had. All the resources. All of them. All of them. And I am tired of being blamed and pointed out, of being the villain. I am tired. I am tired. I am tired. And I am done. And I am done. End scene. Thank you everybody so much, people. This was a lot of fun. And thank you for watching the video. Now, to close things off, I will leave you with this wonderful spoken word piece by the one, the only, the artist, Miss Cookie Dough. Enjoy.
Elon Musk! Okay, I have a message for Elon Musk. Like, literally, like, Elon Musk, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres Musk. Where was your head to, like, literally just, like, call Twitter X? Like, what sense? Who are your creative, like, I don't know, dev team? Like, it doesn't make sense. It was a poor, old-type maiden of decision. Just change it back to Twitter, like the small bird. The small bird. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are gonna miss the bird. Tweet, tweet. The bird. Why a X? Does X mark the spot? Mama. Elon Musk, Ellen DeGeneres, whatever your name is, you need to stop.
Bye. Mwah.